Assalamualaikum and good morning. Today I want to comment on the situation in Malaysia. What is happening, the current events, our government, our PM. When we were about to change government, there was so much hope on kita punya PM. We were rejoicing that we had our PMX, someone who is against corruption, who's about good governance, and we were looking forward to this nation being taken to a trajectory of prosperity, harmony, stability, and mutual welfare for all. A better life, better Malaysia, building a better Malaysia. That was what we were looking forward to after we suffered the previous administration that were kleptocrats, that were divisive, that was abusive, draconian, macam-macam. That's what we were taken to.
But gaduh jiran sebelah kita tak gaduh kat masjid. Orang politik yang buat kita gaduh. Negara ini satu-satunya negara yang penduduk majoritinya sentiasa terasa terancam. Padahal dia majoriti. Saya tak faham konsep tu. You are the majority, you have the most numbers, and at the same time your birth rate is increasing every year.
Correct.
The other side decreasing, and you still rasa terancam. Because pada saya, kuasa suatu politik itu bergantung pada kuasa populasi. Jadi, kalau ditanyakan adakah perlu kesatuan Melayu itu, orang Melayu semua bersatu. Rakyat biasa yang tak ada political inclination, yang porak-peranda tak bersatu. Ni orang politik yang 2% kayangan tu. Itu sahaja. Jadi mereka menggunakan naratif kesatuan Melayu itu bukan untuk orang Melayu secara total. Sebab orang Melayu secara total, kita tak gaduh jiran sebelah kita tak gaduh kat masjid. Orang politik yang buat kita gaduh.
Yes.
Jadi sama ada perlu ke tidak kesatuan Melayu, kita kena beritahu you yang patut bersatu. The pemimpin politik. You have to know what is it all about for Melayu. Yang paling afdal untuk ditanya, yang tenat, yang nazak bukan bangsa. Bangsa kita tidak tenat atau nazak. Kita perlembagaan masih terjaga. Kita masih lagi berniaga, bekerja. Tak ada slaughter kaum ke persekitaran, tak ada. Kaum saya tidak terancam. Yang terancam, yang nazak sekarang ialah negara. Negara yang nazak sekarang. Dengan ekstremism, dengan ekonomi tak menentu, dengan political instability. Kalau tanyakan saya, yang nazak negara, bukan agama atau bangsa. Agama bangsa saya tidak terancam, tapi masa depan negara saya terancam. Kita terancam. Itu yang patut difokuskan. Itu sebab saya selalu promosikan unity government. Because unity government tu tidak mengira mana-mana kaum atau mana-mana bangsa. Hanya mementingkan pembinaan semula negara.
But as events unfold, ni sekarang ni ramai yang tak puas hati dengan the Madani government and the PM. The main thing on the list is the ringgit. Now, you can't blame the PM and government for the ringgit. Generally, people don't demand our currency. Bila people don't demand our currency, people prefer other currencies. Jadi orang tak beli, demand for our currency drop, supply banyak, nilai jatuh. Okay, what happens bila nilai ringgit jatuh? Bila nilai ringgit jatuh, we require more ringgit to buy units of foreign currency in which prices of food and a lot of things that we buy and use are priced in. Okay, take example macam wheat, 1,000 US per ton or whatever, like whatever unit lah. Now, harga tu boleh tak berubah. Tapi bila kita punya ringgit jatuh, US dollar berbanding ringgit naik, we have to pay more ringgit to buy that same amount of wheat. Jadi orang lain, dunia lain, the other parts of the world, can buy that barang because dia punya mata wang tak jatuh, dia beli sama harga, tak naik harga dia. Tapi relative to us, because kita punya nilai ringgit jatuh, kita kena bayar lebih ringgit. Jadi pada kita, jadi mahal lah. So tu harga naik. Harga naik, benda-benda jadi mahal sebab dia is because ringgit kita jatuh. Itulah utama dia. Nombor satu. Next thing is that kita complain barang tak cukup. Barang tak ada beras, tak ada telur, tak ada ayam, tak cukup. Kita marah yang tu. Nah, kenapa tak cukup? Because kita pun tekan kat government, because rakyat banyak tak cannot afford, especially the B40. Government kena subsidize. Government kena set ceiling price. Jadi bila ceiling price, government set tu, government rasa retailers ataupun penjual-penjual supplier semua buat duit. Yes, they do make money, tapi margin rendah. Bila tak kala penjual tu, instead of selling to Malaysians, in Malaysia, kalau dia export ataupun dia jual pada negara-negara asing, negara asing is prepared to pay more money for that, pasal mata wang dia kuat. Kita punya ayam ke, kita punya nasi ke apa semua, harga dalam ringgit. So because of that, selling to them, they can sell higher price, they make higher profit. Jadi kita ni, penjual mana, supplier mana tak mau greater profit. Kita berniaga pun kita nak bigger profit. Jadi priority dia, the high quality, yang the priority is given to selling to people who can pay higher. Bukan pada negara ataupun pada harga yang dah set ceiling price bila I punya profit kurang. Jadi because of that, supply tend to tak ada. Pasal kita dah artificially kacau harga supply and demand. Faham tak? Kalau benda tu banyak sangat supply, harga jatuh. Jadi orang beli banyak, demand naik. Kalau supply tu kurang sangat, harga naik, orang tak boleh beli sangat. Tak? Jadi demand jadi kurang kalau harga tinggi. Itu the workings of economy. Tapi bila government usik, subsidize sini, subsidize sana, then all kinds of problems happen. Kita tak boleh hidup macam katak dalam tempurung. Kita duduk dalam dalam tempurung because orang boleh jual kat luar. The world is seamless. Orang boleh jual kat luar and orang boleh beli kat luar. Kita nak beli kat luar pun sakit because ringgit kita rendah. Okey, itu cerita ringgit kita. Now, at the same time, orang marah pasal semua ada orang susah, what not. Now, ada Israel dengan Palestine punya war. And of course, Malaysia, I've always been sympathetic. Okay? Kesian orang Palestine because they are being massacred. Betul-betul tak adil whatever is happening to them. Okay? Tanah dia kena rampai, orang kena bunuh. Now they are just being bombed to smithereens. And keganasan Zionis is just it's just despicable. Tak masuk akal whatever they do. Okay? Now the liberators for Gaza are Hamas. Hamas punya aim is to liberate, tapi masalah dia punya charter ni ada masalah sikit. Dia nak hapuskan Israel tu tak apalah, mungkin dia rasa Israel tak patut wujud. Tapi dia nak bunuh semua Jews pun. Jadi itu masalah dia. Itu charter tu pun tak betul dah. Why Jews tak boleh wujud dalam dunia ni? Jews pun Allah create juga. Kenapa Allah create Jews kalau purpose to create Jews is just to bunuh? Bagi eliminate. So Jews pun manusia juga. Dia pun nak hidup juga. And they have to do whatever they have to do to live. Tapi that doesn't justify what they are doing in Gaza. Itu dia rasa Palestin tak patut hidup. Dia pun rasa Palestinian ni macam haiwan, less than equal to them. So dia pun nak buat sama. So it's a vicious cycle. Now, tapi as far as PM kita concern, Madani concern, dia marahlah apa tengah jadi and dia tengok the flagrant punya hypocrisy of the world. Bila jadi kat Israel, orang lompat. Orang justify Israel have a right to defend itself. Bom Gaza apa-apa semua okey. Tapi bila Gazans, 75 tahun, kena bunuh, kena serang, kena oust from their home, rumah kena roboh, all that, itu tak nampak. Itu tak apa. Itu tak respon. So, tak kala Hamas respon, masuk into Israel, balas dendam ke whatever ke, yang tu, punya the reaction of the world, Gaza deserve to be bombed. Civilians mati pun tak apa, just to kill Hamas. Because Hamas apparently claim 1,400 lives of Israelis. Now, what about selama ni, the millions that's been killed by Israeli, bunuh orang Palestin, yang tu, bila Hamas respond by killing 1,400, yang tu bising, Marah bukan main. Now that is a response of the oppression that they went through. I am not justifying Hamas, what Hamas did. What Hamas did is atrocity. Let me repeat that. What Hamas did is atrocity, murder. Dia bunuh innocent civilians of Israel. Itu tak betul. Tapi maybe whatever dia buat tu, 1,400 tu, sekali dia masuk tu, that is probably maybe 5% of the atrocity caused in the Middle East. I would say easily 95% is all by Israel against Palestine. Okay, does that mean that satu salah, satu betul? Tak, dua-dua salah. 95% yang buat kat Gaza tu, bunuh semua tu, is also salah. Memang salah. Salah sangat, and I sokong penuh lah PM dan Madani government condemn. Kita kena condemn, kita kena denounce, kita kena pressure the world to stop that. Tapi 5% is also salah. And 5% also tak patut buat. Because what wrong did the Israeli civilians, women, children, babies, yang mana mati, amidst all the propaganda, tapi propaganda pun, there is some truth that, many died, even in Israel. Yang tak bersalah, unarmed civilians. So yang 5% tu, is also salah. Now the problem with kita punya PM dengan Madani government, they harp on that 95%, dia marah that the world does not recognize that 95% damage to Gaza. Dia bising, dia masuk, dia kata flagrant hypocrisy, mana keadilan. Ya, setuju. Tapi that 5% tu, macam mana? 5% tu tak apa, you still support Hamas. You support 5% atrocity, but you are against 95% atrocity. Because it goes to, kat mana? Jadi maknanya, your credibility goes down the drain dah. Maknanya you're not against atrocities. You're not about civilian lives. You are about atrocity against Gaza. You are about Palestinian life saja. The minute you perceive that, you lose credibility. You are just a Palestinian and a Hamas supporter. That's how the world perceive Anwar. That's how Anwar Ibrahim will be perceived. This is a big problem. Kalau Anwar Ibrahim wants to be a person of credence, the world respects. World respect bukan Arab world respect saja, bukan Muslim world saja. The Western world pun, you can even earn Israel punya respect. Kalau you are seen as a balanced person, you call a spade, you condemn 95%, you condemn 5%, you condemn 100% of atrocity. You condemn 100% of taking of innocent lives. Then you have credence. And when you have credence, you have powers of persuasion, you build allegiance and alliances, and kita walaupun kecil, kita akan be revered, and we stand on the grounds of kebenaran. And when we do that, when Malaysia becomes that is when we are able to be the best of help to the Palestinian cause. Tapi ini kita go on stage, kita pergi stadium, kita gempur-gempurkan rakyat, kita buat solidarity week. Now you do all that untuk apa? Firstly, I'm not saying patut buat atau tak patut buat. I'm just asking, purpose dia apa? What is it that you want to do? Awareness? Good. First step, kita kena ada awareness. Yes, awareness of what's wrong. Tapi apa? You nak raise apa sentiments? Kalau you nak raise sentiments, whatever we do in support of Palestine, let the support be something that's material and positively impact the Palestinian cause. This is what you have to do. Kalau you takak marah and berkelai dengan negeri-negeri, dapat kena sanction.
Cuba terangkan kalau US, Jepun, Korea dan Singapura boikot kita, apa yang akan berlaku kepada Malaysia? So, apa yang akan jadi kalau sekutu-sekutu Israel ni boikot negara kita? ramai sangat yang nak benda ni jadi. Yang pertamanya akan berlakunya hyperinflasi. So duit kita semakin lama semakin tak laku. So bila duit tak laku, apa yang jadi? Harga barang meningkat lah. Macam sekarang, ayam sekilo tak sampai RM10. Bila berlakunya hyperinflasi, sila-sila sekilo RM30, RM40. Harga beras tu daripada RM26, sekarang ni dah jadi RM45, RM46. So bila berlakunya hyperinflasi, sila-sila satu kampit harga beras mungkin boleh pergi ke RM80 ke RM100 satu kampit. Dah lah harga barang naik gila-gila. Lepas tu tak ada peluang pekerjaan. Sebab banyak company-company yang ada kat dalam negara kita ni keluar balik ke negara dia. So bila peluang pekerjaan tak ada, apa yang akan berlaku? Kadar jenayah semakin meningkat, orang semakin terdesak. Rompak sana, rompak sini. Lepas tu hidup dalam ketakutan. Ada seorang influencer ni dia kata, oh kita tak perlukan pelabur asing daripada luar. Kita boleh buat company kita sendiri, kita support produk lokal kita dan sebagainya supaya kita boleh berdiri sendiri. Boleh, tak ada masalah, boleh buat. Tapi cumanya dia perlukan masa. Dia tak ada macam pui ludah terus jadi. So saya harap benda ni tak berlaku lah. Tapi kalau katakan benda ni berlaku, kesianlah kepada orang-orang yang, yalah sekarang ni pun dah susah. Kalau berlaku, lagilah ramai orang yang susah, hilang pekerjaan dan sebagainya. So kita bolehlah gunakan ayat bukannya kerja engkau yang bagi rezeki, yang bagi rezeki tu Tuhan. Bolehlah kita guna ayat macam tu pada orang-orang yang hilang pekerjaan. Mudah cakap, bila jadi kat diri sendiri melompat-lompat. Ayam naik harga sikit pun dah melompat, lagi nak cerita hyperinflasi.
How does that help Palestine? How does that help their cause? Jadi orang-orang kat sini, kat Malaysia ni, yang mana yang nak support Palestine pun, dia marah, kita march, kita gather, kita carry flag. Ada yang bakar flag Israel, which is so wrong. Merepek bakar flag semua, pijak flag, bagi anak-anak carry guns, military. Okay, let's be clear firstly lah. Malaysia, with kita punya military dengan kapal selam pun yang tak siap, LCS punya skandal pun tak resolve, kita dah bayar duit, kita tak ada. Kita literally sitting ducks pun. Banyak negara boleh serang kita. Kita banyak cekadak, dia serang kita, that's it, kita conquered. We can be another Palestine. Sedar diri first. Firstly, sedar diri. So as far as military punya might, we are nowhere to Israel or US or even kita punya neighbor Singapore and Thailand pun, atau Indonesia pun. We are nowhere compared. Kita jangan ingat kita gangster, kita raja. Tak ada. Jadi, kalau kita nak fan the sentiments of the rakyat to be combatant, to want to go and help Palestine, that is foolish and silly. Strike that out of the list first. Militarily, we cannot assist Palestine. We cannot make a difference to them. Kita hantar kita punya askar, mati katak je. Nak perang macam mana? Nak masuk pun macam mana? Kalau masuk sana pun, tak ada makanan, tak ada air, tak ada electricity. How are you going to survive and how are you going to fight? How? So therefore, militarily, we cannot assist. Kita punya air punya power, nothing. Sampai sana aja dah boleh kena tembak dah. US punya kapal tunggu situ dah. So therefore, military, rule that out. We can't help Palestine. Okay, economy. Can we pressure the governments? Kita boycott McDonald macam mana pun, yang suffer mostly, Starbucks ke apa, yang suffer are the people who are the retailers here. Banyak orang Melayu. Orang Melayu punya pekerja, Grab riders pun Melayu, semua suffer. 95% of the impact of the severity and kesakitan kalau kita boycott semua ni jatuh kat orang Malaysia. This McDonald's ke Starbucks ke, habis kuat dia bayar 4-5% royalty kepada the Yahudi punya company, McDonald's ke 4 ke 5% ke. So kita boycott. Imagine you do something, you kat musuh itu, you do something, 95% kesakitan yang you buat tu jatuh ke anak you, 5% jatuh ke anak neighbor you ataupun neighbor you. You nak ke? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do something yang lebih menyakitkan family you daripada family musuh you? So this is kebodohan kalau you nak boycott. Tapi nak boycott bila I will eat whatever I want to eat. I bukan suka sangat pun makanan fast food, makan Malaysia lagi sedap. Tapi I'm not going to boycott benda macam tu. Because even apa ni, kalau you kata benda tu membantu negara sana, the benefit to us is way more. Jadi apa ni, and I don't see the need to fight them there bila benda tu is about memberi makan pada orang. Kita patut fight them about killing people and babies and children and women in Gaza. That is yang tak betul. Amal ma'ruf nahi mungkar. This we better be clear of what we want to do. So boycott tak boleh dah. Okay, ekonomi kita tak ada ability to pressure Israel or the Europe or US to stop and cause the ceasefire. Tak boleh. Okay, reputation PM and Madani, because kita one-sided, kita decide to be Hamas supporter rather than Palestinian support. Kita support apa saja Hamas buat, atrocity pun kita support juga. Jadi kita tak ada credence, kita influence tak ada, ekonomi tak ada, military tak ada. Tapi kita nak gempur-gempurkan rakyat, nak make sure yang kita ni mengilhami the struggles of Palestine, kesedaran untuk apa? Rakyat marah, rakyat berkobar-kobar, rakyat nak kena buat apa? Bila you tak serve, you tak assign a purpose untuk you buat benda ni semua, Solidarity Week semua, untuk apa you buat? Jadi rakyat, cikgu, kanak-kanak, they will make their own andaian and they will decide how they want to respond and how they want to react and manifest the kesedaran and the solidarity that you try to put in. This will be a failure of the government because people can become extreme. You bagi lagi ada religious extremism, the kebencian, misplaced hatred, tanam hatred kepada budak-budak. This becomes merepek. Jadi, I've been talking about the pain points for the past many minutes. Let me talk about what I think should be done. What PM nak buat, kalau betul-betul nak tolong Palestin, dah rule out military, economy, even reputation kita pun you can still repair, tapi I don't think PM nak repair. Dia tak mau condemn Hamas punya atrocity tu. Bagi dia it's not atrocity lah kot. Kalau Hamas bunuh innocent civilian, masuk tembak, kalau roket tu understand, you tak tahu, you tembak, you terbunuh. Tapi kalau you masuk, you bunuh, itu tak betul. Tanya pun tak, validate pun tak. Kalau benda tu betul-betul Israel propaganda, media propaganda, say so. Tapi bila you silent, you tak condemn, it means that you sokong. Jadi bila orang kata you Hamas supporter, jangan marah. Kalau orang bagi sanction kat kita, what can you do? Dia kalau sanction, kita lagi teruk. Ekonomi kita dah teruk. Ringgit dah merundum. Kalau kena sanction lagi, kurang lagi, lagilah suffer country, lagilah orang marah, lagilah orang nak tukar kerajaan dan tukar Perdana Menteri. So, tak kebodoh. Kalau you betul-betul niat you, nawaitu you is about to help Palestine, think about how you can make Malaysia to be in a position to help Palestine. Kalau you tengok rakyat betul-betul sokong and bersimpati dengan Palestine, yes, you raise dia punya awareness, you raise dia punya sentiments, yes, kita nak fight. And how do we fight Palestine? The way we fight Palestine is kalau kita memperkukuhkan ekonomi kita, kita mengkuatkan ekonomi kita, kita tambah kita punya competency of orang-orang, kita come up with innovations, even weapons or weaponry, we will begin to develop that expertise. IT kita, bila kita dah kuat, kita ada allegiance, kita ada allegiance with the relevant people, orang respect kita, kita become a formidable nation, then we are able to cause a change and menolong Palestin. Itu cara dia. How did Israel from nothing, walaupun supported by US, becomes a big thing? Macam mana dia jadi kuasa, antara kuasa terbesar di dunia? Macam mana Israel jadi itu? Berapa orang saja Jews ada? Because they better themselves. Dia tak bergaduh sesama sendiri. They learn, they develop, they come up with so many things that benefits us. Technology, medicine, macam-macam. Entertainment pun dia buat, semua come from Israel. The Israelis are very enterprising. They decide to be enterprising rather than nak berkelai ataupun nak religious extremism. Look at yang musuh kita tu, look at how they did, how they rise. So why can't Malaysia follow on that footstep? Kalau kita menawai tu betul, kalau kita want to become the counter of Israel, Malaysia to be the counter of Israel. Kita pun rather than nak berkelahi ataupun nak religious extremism, look at yang musuh kita tu, look at how they did, how they rise. So why can't Malaysia follow on that footstep? Kalau kita menawai tu betul, kalau kita want to become the counter of Israel, Malaysia to be the counter of Israel, kita pun macam-macam innovation. Look at China. China besar. What was China 50 tahun dulu? Look at what China is today. Nampak Presiden Xi Jinping buat apa? Educate the people of China. You see dia punya engineering marvel. You see dia punya economy, dia punya production, dia punya services. Almost semua orang boleh cakap English dekat China. Educate people. Kaya orang China. Nampak tak dia ubah nasib of the nation? Dia bagi a sense of purpose to the people to strive for. So, for Palestine ni, yes, kita dah sedar, kita dah marah, kita tak suka tengok, the atrocity, kesian, mengalir air mata tengok apa berlaku. So, bila kita marah, kita upset, how can we convert this? Think about how you can convert the rakyatnya sentiments towards something positive. Supaya, ultimately, benda ni boleh membantu the Palestinian cause. So maknanya, you sedar, you tahu, now you need to know why Islam, why Malaysia, Asia, we need to become formidable. Kita kena lagi pandai belajar. Kanak-kanak, you kena lagi pandai belajar. You kena lagi pandai daripada orang-orang yang membunuh saudara kita di Gaza. Kita kena belajar lagi, rajin lagi, tekun lagi. Be more creative, be more innovative, be more competitive. Lebih nilai-nilai murni, nilai-nilai virtues kita kena jadi better people, kita kena learn bermasyarakat dengan dunia, kita kena learn to build alliances, jangan berkelahi, be balanced supaya kita boleh connect dengan US, dengan Europe, dengan semua. Jadi orang look up to us. Kita lebih daripada just another paria ke ASEAN. How do we leverage that? That's a message to students, to teachers. You have a big role to develop the next generations. Kalau kita betul-betul nak tolong Palestin atau mana-mana nation yang tertindas dan tertekan, what we should do? We should, build, better generations. Nilai-nilai kita. Okay, pada rakyat-rakyat semua yang marah. So much you can do to boycott. You nak derma, bolehlah derma sikit, bagi whatever you nak bagi makan, shelter. Tapi that will not change nasib Palestine. Eventually they're still going to be all murdered and massacred. Jadi we don't know to what extent, tapi what we can do, we can make this nation a better nation, a stronger, formidable nation. Jadi bila kita dah kaya pun, military pun kita boleh slowly improve. Ekonomi kita boleh makin kuat. So turn the sentiments and the rage of the rakyat for the penindasan. Nombor satu, kita tak mau perkara sama berlaku pada kita. And for that not to be happen to us, we must not be a world reject, number one. And we got to be a formidable, respectable nation. We have to be powerful. We start now. Itu nombor satu. Nombor dua, when we become that, we can help the weaker nations. Itu channel that energy, that power, that rage or sympathy or sentiments towards that. Get the rakyat to pacukan negara ni. Ekonomi kita, pelajaran kita, governance kita, stability kita, harmony kita. This is what PM and Madani government should do. Assign a sense of purpose to all these Palestinian punya rallies, solidarity week. Tukar. This can all become good. Kita sedar, kita realize what we must do. When you assign a sense of purpose to rakyat will do it right. Rakyat will understand, and setakat mana rakyat terkesan, they will now start striving. We will start striving as a nation. Daripada student sampailah ke rakyat yang biasa, yang miskin, yang kaya, yang tua, yang sakit, semua, the nation will begin to strive. We make the country a better Malaysia, a stronger, a formidable Malaysia, so that we don't become a reject, like a reject, and end up becoming like Palestine, kena occupy dengan orang, and then we can assist. Whatever we do, we have to do with a sense of purpose. Kita jangan buat membuta just sentiment political saja. For what? Untuk apa? Where is the vision in that? So I tak tahu lah whether how many people will resonate with what I'm saying. We have to lay the perspective right. We have to put things into perspective. We have to do it right. And kalau PM faham what I'm talking about, PM can make it right. PMX can make it right. Madani can make it right. Do it right. Please, fight for Palestine. Yes, we fight for Palestine, but by doing that, we strengthen ourselves when we fight for Palestine. Bukannya kita melemahkan kita lagi, mempariakan kita lagi di dunia, appearing to be one-sided. We don't do like that. Itu bukan cara menolong kita punya brethren kat Palestine. Itu bukan cara dia. Cara kita is to be respected, to be revered, to be feared, to be preferred, popular, to be formidable. This is what we have to turn Malaysia into in order for us to be able to help. Military jangan harap dah bagi tahu dah. Economy, we are just a speck of the world punya economy. Nothing we can do. So kita punya small sphere, small case of things, do it right at least. At the least, we get a better Malaysia. That is the least punya spill effect. We get a better Malaysia, build a better Malaysia, and a better Malaysia is in a better position to help weak nations and nations that are oppressed. If itu provided, nawaitu kita betul. Provided niat kita betul. So, apa niat PMX? Apa niat Madani? Only PMX and Madani and Allah knows. But if it is genuine, I am in full support of this, and I hope moving forward, the government does the right things.
If you want to see more content like this, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any new videos.